The new trailer for House of the Dragon just came out, and I don't know, it kind of gives me, I don't know, it didn't really do much for me. It gives me definitely the feel that there's tension in Westeros. It didn't give you any plot or story, but it just makes me feel like I wish Game of Thrones ended better. What do you think, Gator?
This trailer didn't do anything for me personally, mostly because, I mean, when this concept was revealed, I wasn't really excited either. I was excited for the prospect of a new Game of Thrones series or in Westeros or whatever, but then they revealed it's kind of like pretty close to the era that we're in, and I don't really care about that. Like, we got enough backstory with the Targaryens and all that stuff, and so I was expecting something lackluster. When I see this trailer, I mean, really, there's not much to it that I'm interested in. Like men would rather burn Westeros and let a woman ascend to the throne. It's like, are we really doing this story again?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or is that even going to be a component to this again? Like, the most interesting thing they could probably do in the modern era is the Mad King, and we know basically everything about that. So it's like, what's the point?
You're not excited about diversity in Westeros?
I never said that. Don't put words in my mouth. Don't shove words down my throat and make me gag.
Okay, well, nothing these days really makes you gag. I like Matt Smith.
Not anymore.
Of all the characters, I think in that play Targaryens, they always dye their hair white, but they keep their eyebrows
right,
kind of more darker, and it looks better because it's like same with Thor in the first Thor movie. He looks so weird with those blonde, with those blonde eyebrows. But Matt Smith doesn't have eyebrows, so it definitely looks super. I don't know. It looks freaky, but I like it. I like everything he's in. I am not a Doctor Who fan, so I don't know him from Doctor Who. I know him from his most infamous role as the villain in Morbius.
Morbius. Yeah, Morbius. Oh, dude, critically acclaimed. He's going to get an Oscar for that one, guaranteed.
If they don't, I think I might just shove something inside myself.
Shove it down my throat. Yeah. See if I'll gag at that one. We got to keep testing these waters.
Are you more excited for this show or the Lord of the Rings of Power?
Wow, that's actually tough. I didn't even compare the two yet in my mind. Lord of the Rings, I think I'm more excited for. Wait, hold on, sorry. When does Lord of the Rings take place? Like, super long time ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, super. So even that alone right there, I understand that it's going to make no sense, and there was apparently some kind of a ethnic genocide in Middle-earth where there are no black elves and everything by the time we get to the modern era of Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit and whatnot. But besides that nonsense stuff, I'm still more interested in it because it's so detached from the stuff that we've seen. It doesn't feel like anything's going to be retreaded. I really doubt that they're going to be able to find a way in Lord of the Rings to bullshit some kind of a wink, wink, nod to the modern era of characters like they did in The Hobbit. You think they will?
Yeah, they'll do it.
When they said
that's everything nowadays. Everything nowadays has that stupid wink, wink, nod.
Thousands of years though, dude.
They're like, Aragorn is a good name.
Well, exactly.
No way that lasts like thousands of years or whatever.
Yeah, it might. No. It might. I don't know. Yeah, no, I'm more excited for Lord of the Rings, honestly.
I don't know. I think I'm more excited for this because they have so much more. I mean, hypothetically, House of the Dragon has way more availability towards the actual source material and things around it than. And I think George R.R. Martin helped them write it a little bit, which, take that for whatever it's worth. But Lord of the Rings of Power, they had to only use appendices within Tolkien's work, and the best Tolkien scholar kind of got fired off the set. There's controversy about that behind the scenes.
Yeah,
and
yep.
Both of these, we're not seeing a lot of stuff from, which has me worried why they're not showing that much, I don't know, plot or something. I don't know. I need to see more from these. I need to see more from these trailers to kind of get a feel of the direction they're going. But at least, I don't know, with Game of Thrones, they just made it recently. Probably a lot of the same crew and stuff are involved with it. So I don't feel so it's so detached.
Is that a good sign to you or a bad sign to you? Listen, let me ask you this. Do you think that they botched the end of Game of Thrones harder, or do you think they botched the Hobbit trilogy harder?
Oh, they botched Game of Thrones way harder. But I would say
way harder.
The people working on The Hobbit aren't the same people working on The Rings of Power.
That's true. That's true. Well, okay, either way. Well, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, this feels like the House of Dragon feels an actual, a prequel to Game of Thrones.
It does, yeah.
The Rings of Power doesn't feel like a prequel to any of the Tolkien stuff we've seen thus far. It feels almost generic fantasy right now, as far as what I can see, because nothing really feels like.
I mean,
this looks just like how Peter Jackson portrayed it, which was just like, who's his name? I forgot the artist's name. His name's escaping me, but he did all the artwork before even Peter Jackson was attached to the project or took on Tolkien's work. He used him for maybe it's Alan. No, is Alan Horn? Is that the? Anyways, it might be wrong. Anyways, the aesthetics kind of carried on throughout pop culture, but with the Rings of Power, it doesn't really look like that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could see that too. It does look detached. It's again, that's thousands of years. I mean, what could happen? See, this is the thing though. The Game of Thrones series, man, wouldn't you have liked this so much more if it was so much further in the past? Like back when the Targaryens were first like coming over to Westeros. I think you've me talked about this before, but that would be such a cooler thing. Or like even something to have to do with the children way of the past or whatever, the first men even, like some big war back then. I think that'd be way cooler. The way this is going so Targaryen, I just feel like it's not going to be that like grimy, gritty feel that I liked so much from Game of Thrones. It's not like I didn't like the Targaryen stuff in Game of Thrones. It's just like I wasn't that interested in it. I don't know. That's just a personal thing. I didn't really care about the Targaryen conflict much. Like Daenerys was fine, but it just seemed like she was always on top and there was no real conflict. And if we go to an era now where the Targaryens were in power already or whatever, it feels like more of the same.
Yeah, I mean, it does feel the same. It feels similar. I don't know if it's the exactly same, in my opinion.
Well,
but
not the exact same.
Let me put on my George R. R. Martin colored glasses here, and look at Game of Thrones or the.
I need a copy of those, by the way.
Yeah, they're on their way. The House of the Dragon. I'm looking at the House of the Dragon. I hope that because it's so recent in the memory of all these executives, all these people that have worked on Game of Thrones, that the failure is like they can still taste the epic failure that was Game of Thrones, that they go, okay, House of Dragon needs to capture the feel of Game of Thrones season 1 through 4, period. That's what we have to capture. We have to capture that feel, and if we go away from that, it's gonna not be good.
Right.
Or it's gonna fail. So I hope, because that's recent and it's recent in their brains that they think that way. But with Rings of Power, I feel like those people are more so on the same trajectory as Wheel of Time. There's a YouTuber, Salty Texas C, who I'm sometimes on his live streams, or otherwise I'm trolling him on there. He does breakdowns of Wheel of Time and how much they butchered the original source material in there. And I feel like they might have, I don't know, like the same playbook going into the Rings of Power. So that's why I'm more optimistic about House of the Dragon.
I mean, listen, good for you, man, because honestly, I'm not optimistic about either one of these things. Like, I don't see a way in modern Hollywood they can ever take something with an existing franchise and, do it justice. I don't think they'll be able to do it either way. You are kind of talking me out of the Lord of the Rings prequel here, for sure. But I don't know if it's making me think any higher of, God, what the fuck is it? House of the Dragon. I don't think. Yeah, I don't think it's making me think any higher of House of the Dragon. So I don't know. I mean, overall, I'm not excited for either one of these shows. Really, I'll definitely watch them, but I'm going into it with kind of a dull mentality. Not so much Halo, where with Halo, I was fully prepared and expecting this to be a piece of shit. Yeah. I'm not expecting that with either one of these shows. I'm more wary with them, just because it's like, I mean, you know why? It's The Hobbit wasn't that great. The final few seasons of Game of Thrones weren't that great, and now we're getting like over diversity, inclusion stuff in both of these, either visually or in dialogue. So yeah, I don't know, not looking forward, but I'll definitely watch them.
My biggest frustration is knowing how good it could be. It's not some generic sci-fi, or in this case fantasy. It's actually great source material that they're pulling from and that they're butchering.
Yeah, big universes.
Real quick, which one would you smash and which one would you pass? Gun to your head. House of Dragon and Rings of Power. You can smash both. You can pass both. Smash or pass.
Okay. I think I'd smash both.
Oh,
just because it's such a Well, I think I'd smash both, and the reason being, I guess I'm kind of going with like the representation in the show here a little bit. You go House of the Dragon, you got a lot of people that look exactly the same. Especially if it's dark, it's barely lit. You're like, these bodies are coming in and out. You don't know which one's which. Men and women alike. Like, you don't know. All right, I see blonde hair. I see a skinny, pale body.
Looks like your brother.
I don't know what I'm about to feel. Well, it's like my brother. Am I about to feel a bulge, or am I about to feel a crater? You know what I mean? I have no idea.
Mystery.
You go now to Lord of the Rings.
There's no sex.
Everybody looks totally
different.
different.
There's no sex in Lord of the Rings. You failed. You
well,
definitely have to pass.
What the fuck? Are you serious?
Yeah, you failed.
Rings
of Power, there's no sex.
I'm fucking in Lord of the Rings. How are there no sex in there? How is there no sex?
Tolkien never talked about sex, so there's no sex.
That makes it even more alluring. I know it's in the background there somewhere. Daddy Tolkien was just too polite to mention it. That's all it is.
If you like this content, if you like me and Gator here sitting talking about potentially fucking his brother, then go ahead, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, or don't. I don't care. Maybe. I don't know.